going live for the Product Talk Tuesday. And I just started on the webinar jam, so let me start over. Hi, this is Danielle Daniel, and I am a licensed clinical social worker and Doctor of Clinical Psychology student. And I'm here to talk to you about limonene content today. For those of you that are on, would love to have you say hello to me in chat. And I want to know maybe if there's anybody out there that was skeptical when they first started hearing about essential oils and why you were skeptical. I'd love to open up this conversation because I know there are a lot of you that maybe this video gets, if you share this video on your feed, right, and you see this video and you're like, gosh, everybody's talking about essential oils, right? And I really want to talk to you about that, how I was skeptical in the beginning. So I actually grew up using essential oils, so I wasn't skeptical about using them. I just used them, as like a little complimentary thing. But I was very skeptical when I thought that they could really make a medical or a chemical difference in the body. And as a Doctor of Clinical Psychology student, that was one thing that I wanted to know. Okay, are these just like great for a massage and help your body relax, or do they really do something profound in the body? So when I was introduced to doTERRA essential oils, which is the best, the most pure and the highest quality essential oils. Now, I've used essential oils over 20 years. I've been in this industry. So for those of you who have used oils before even finding doTERRA, you know the difference. So I want you to comment, say hello, but also talk to us, tell me about why you were skeptical. I'd love to hear. And I was skeptical because, again, I didn't think they would be really a valid option for mental health, let alone like major physical health stuff. And at the time, I was actually having some major physical health stuff in my gut, and I was getting brain fog and all the, your gut and brain connection's so huge. And I had been using, my oils that I'd had and ones I'd bought in stores, and just I wasn't really getting much of a shift. And I just thought that's pretty normal, whatever, until I found doTERRA essential oil. So my skepticism really turned when I noticed a big difference in what they did in my gut. And so what happened was I started using some of the ones that are really good for digestive health. And it's like, honestly, immediately I got a lifting result in my gut. Like I just felt like I had more energy in there for it to do what it needed to do instead of feeling sluggish. And then I also felt like I was getting my nutrients finally delivered throughout my body and my brain. I could function, I could think clearly again. And so within about 2 weeks, I was noticing that difference. But it was about 2 months in that I was just like, my gut was like back to like pretty normal. Really, really cool. So I turned to the science study, and I want to talk to you guys about limonene today. And for those of you maybe that are brand new, go ahead and, if you're share this on your feeds. We're going to talk really about limonene and how it affects the brain. How many of you guys are like brand new and you don't even know, like, okay, I stumbled across this video. I don't use essential oils. I want you to type in here if you're brand new. And if you are using, or if you're not using essential oils yet, I just would love to hear for those of you that are new. Even if you're watching the recording, please comment. I always go back and really talk with you guys in the comments because it's hard on here to do that. So let's just talk about limonene. When I did research on some of my research papers on brain health and stuff, and when you look at the essential oils and how they affect the brain, they actually affect all, there's research, okay, PubMed.gov, aromaticscience.com, that show they affect almost every major neurotransmitter. Actually, I'll say every major neurotransmitter because they affect dopamine. There are studies showing that limonene, well, all essential oils, but I'm just talking about limonene in general, affects dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and GABA neurotransmitters, and those are your major ones. Serotonin, I said, yeah. And it even affects a few others, but those are the major 4 that I'm going to talk about today. So with that being said, there's different ways it can affect the brain. And one of those is through neural olfactory inhalation. When you inhale the aromatic molecules, whether they be gasoline, which is totally damaging when you inhale it, right? Those chemical compounds start to break down brain cells. When you inhale essential oils, it's actually recognizable for the body, and it brings in, like I was talking about with my gut, an energy back to the body to help it do what it needed to do in the first place. Essential oils do not heal you. I want you to understand that. That is not what they do. Essential oils help your body have the chemical energy to do what it needs to do. So with the brain research, let's go into limonene. And actually I put down I found tons. I went through about 20 to 30 different research articles today to talk about limonene with you. And a lot of them were duplicating, saying the same type of, finding the same type of research. So I didn't write those twice. But a lot of the research is showing limonene does cause a calming effect. Now that's going to be through your GABA neurotransmitter, generally, sometimes dopamine. GABA is the primary inhibitor neurotransmitter in the body. So it causes a calming effect. It also causes a calming with anxious emotions. And so how it does the anxious emotions is it helps to increase the GABA, the inhibitor neurotransmitters, to calm that anxious feeling. Okay, so this is all science-based. It's not just a placebo effect. If it can work on my little cat, who is definitely not a placebo effect type, thing, if it can calm her anxiousness when we get in the car, I mean, it works. In fact, she really likes it. One time we're traveling from San Diego to Vegas, and she was in her little car carrier, and I had the lavender, I had a roll-on bottle, and I just put it in her, like wedged it into her little crate, and it just sat there, and she just sat there with her nose by it and was just smelling it, and it really calmed her because she was a little nervous. And by within 3 minutes, she was just laying there calmly. And I'm sorry, but a cat, you can't have a placebo effect with a cat. Maybe an adult can make something up, but not a cat. Another story I want to share with you about how, so that was lavender I just talked about, but so in bergamot, there's an essential oil. There's limonene in bergamot. Bergamot is a citrus. So limonene is actually found heavily in your citrus essential oils. So bergamot has about 30% limonene. It also has linalool and linyl acetate. Do you guys know which essential oils linalool and linyl acetate are very strong in, are very high content? And that's lavender. So with bergamot, one time I was on the plane, and this girl she was kitty corner from me in the aisle so I could see her, and she was hyperventilating, freaking out and crying and just having this total anxious, overabundance of anxious emotions. And I grabbed out my bergamot and my lavender, and I said, hey, I'm a psychologist. Is it okay if I put a drop in your hand and you can just inhale this? It helps with calming down for like a plane ride. And she was like, okay. And she was freaking out. She couldn't even hardly talk. So anyway, we put a drop in her hand and she inhaled it, and she just went like this. And all of a sudden she put her head back and just relaxed in her chair, in the plane. It was amazing. And it wasn't like I told her, and I didn't really coax her on anything. I don't even know this chick. And that just little drop of bergamot and lavender completely helped her brain to calm down from the over anxious thoughts that she was having and be able to do the plane ride okay. So again, these are not placebo effect. There's an actual chemical action happening. So like I said, limonene is been found associated in research with dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and GABA, and it helps for calming, and it also helps anxious emotions. Another thing that limonene does, they saw that it helped calm locomotor activity with induced methamphetamine. So what that means is when you get methamphetamine in the body, it makes you just have this hyper locomotion. That they found that the limonene, isn't that crazy? You would think that something else, but they found the limonene caused the calming effect from the locomotion. Now, a really cool thing is I've actually had this experience. I had a patient come in who was in withdrawals from methamphetamine, and immediately I had my orange essential oil, and that's lemon. Oh, I grabbed 2 lemons and no orange here. So pretend I have orange in my hand. This is a citrus bliss. So I had my orange essential oil, and I did a drop in her hand and had her breathe it in. She was just like this. And within about, I'd say 3 minutes, I noticed a big difference where she was a little bit calmer with her locomotion. And then about 10 minutes in, she was sitting there calmly. Her body had been able to relax finally. So again, these are just incredible experiences that limonene, just limonene, we're not even talking about the hundreds of compounds that plants contain. We're talking about just one compound, which is high in citruses, but it's also in other oils too. You'll see it like at 3% or 20% in a lot of other oils. Okay, so let's see what some more research said it helped cells induce apoptosis. So like I said, I love this. Essential oils don't heal your body, you guys. It's not what they do. They help your body produce the actions it needs. It's just like when you eat an apple or when you eat like a kale. It's like your body gets the energy it needs to do what it needs to do. Okay, so that's what essential oils do. It gives that body, it's a chemical energy. It's a chemical reaction. It's just, you find it, you can see it in a petri dish in a lab. So apoptosis, let's talk about that. I know you're probably like, what's apoptosis, right? Apoptosis, so cells have a normal, this is brain cells or body cells, right? Have a normal healthy process, right? If they ever start to become unhealthy and they're at their end of their life cycle, right? They're supposed to die. That's like their life cycle of life for the cell, and it's called apoptosis is the process of it dying and just ending its cycle of life. So what happens is some cells just don't do that. And what they do is they start to just replicate and mutate, which can become like uncomfortable lumps is what I like to call them. And my light just went out if you couldn't tell. That was funny. Uncomfortable lumps on you where these cells just start to coagulate, okay? So what happens is essential oils, and limonene has been found to help in this too. There are many others that do well, but helps to produce or helps the cells to induce apoptosis. Basically, hey, you're not healthy, you need to get out. It's just kind of like what you do with like a negative like friend or something. You know what? You're not healthy anymore. I don't want to be around you. See ya, So that's what apoptosis is. That's what limonene helps do in the body. So this is why it's really good for the gut. And I'm going to tell you some ways to use the oils, the limonene. So again, suppresses inflammation. So this is why the gut, it's really good to put essential oils like in a glass water bottle. Essential oils are also very cleansing, detoxifying. So you don't want them in plastic. Okay, anything plastic or styrofoam, it's just going to detoxify that plastic bottle. It's what it's made to do. That's awesome, but you don't want to drink that. So again, putting it in glass. Now, for those of you that are new, that are just like, okay, I just, if you want this is a 20-minute little information that you can digest about why essential oils are really something you should listen to. And the reason being is, like I said, I'm doing my doctorate in clinical psychology. I don't just use something because it smells good. I want to know the science behind it. And when I learned the science, I started using these with my patients and got incredible results. Like I just shared with you a couple results that I've seen, mental health wise, that these have been able to do. Okay, another one is attenuate the effects of stress, which just sounds, oh, that's nice. It's huge. Attenuate the effects of stress. Do we know what that means? That means when we have stress, your body releases stress hormones, right? Stress chemicals, corticosteroids, and those corticosteroids start to disrupt stuff in the brain. They start to break down other chemical neural communication. So when it says attenuate the effects of stress, it means it helps you think clearly. And this is so obvious whenever, how many of you guys have ever been in a stressful situation? I mean, all of us, right? And like, okay, one way you can just think of this is public speaking. Have you ever had to stand up in front of someone and you knew your content, but you stood up there and you're just like, you can't even think? That is what stress chemicals do. They disrupt the communication. And so you're just like, and you get nervous, you get sweaty. That's the effects of stress. If you're ever driving and you're late and you're just nerves, that's the effects of stress. So when an essential oil like limonene says that it attenuates the effects of stress, that's huge. So if you need to public speak, use limonene. What I do is I put them on the pulse points on my neck so that it gets to the brain. And I would do something like, for speaking, probably something like the Motivate, which is a blend with citruses and other essential oils. So again, just keeps your brain active. So that's the attenuate effects of stress is awesome that limonene does, just so amazing. Some other research studies showed it reduced spasmodic effects, reduces oxidative stress on the cells. So what that means is It helps the body counteract or detoxify these free radicals that actually cause cell death and cause like unhealthy damage in the cells. So limonene helps protect against oxidative stress or cell death, and helps control inflammation in the colon, which is huge. You know, that's when like the major thing they find across like mental health disorders is inflammation of the colon, especially in autism. So again, I'm not saying right now that this cures autism. What I'm saying is that inflammation, as medical Western world has identified, is the core cause of every disease. And if you can do something by helping your body modulate, which modulate means regulate or keep evened out healthy amounts of inflammation in the body and in the gut, limonene is a great component to do that. So a couple others that I just named on here: balanced gut microbes. Basically just means that it doesn't allow gut microbes to take over, so that you have, healthy amounts of good bacteria. That's what limonene does. It also helps to, let's see, what did I write here? It's gastroprotective. So our gut has tons and tons and tons of neurotransmitters. Tons. More serotonin is produced in the gut than in the brain. Actually, almost about 90% is produced in the gut. Less than 1% produced in the brain. Crazy, huh? So again, your gut is the key, and limonene is so crucial for this. So let's talk about some of the essential oils. What I'd like to see from you guys while you're on or watching the recording is, which is your favorite citrus or favorite essential oil? So citrus essential oil. So limonene is high in citrus oils. I don't know if I already said that. So what I want to know is your favorite citrus essential oil. And the major thing across the board that they have found that citrus oils do, which is why I used it in my office, is it helps uplift mood. And the way you can remember this is citruses are bright. Their color is bright and vibrant. Think of orange and grapefruit and lemon and lime, okay? That it helps to brighten your mood. It does the same thing in the body. Again, it's connected to your serotonin, which is your happy neurochemical. Dopamine is a happy neurochemical, and so is norepinephrine. And it's connected to all of those. All that research has found is connected with those neurotransmitters. So I'm loving seeing wild orange. Yeah, it's such a good one. Wild orange just is amazing. And let's talk about the limonene content, because I'd love to see. It is hard to choose, Liza, I think, said. It is hard. I will admit, I don't even know. It's kind of an unfair question. I feel like I don't even know my favorite citrus essential oil. To cheat, I'll say it's Citrus Bliss, because it's a combination of all of the citruses. And it's got mandarin orange and clementine and tangerine, a whole bunch of others. But that's kind of cheating. So if I was going to just choose one, I don't know. I'd probably say grapefruit. It's kind of my favorite fruit, though. I love sour. Oh my gosh, the other day I was at the grocery store and I was craving grapefruit juice. I don't really drink juice. I drink teas, but not juice. But I was craving grapefruit juice. I bought one that was 100%. The only ingredient in there was grapefruit juice. That's it. So they squeezed grapefruits. And I have been drinking that down this week. So pay attention. Your body knows what it needs. Sherry says tangerine and wild orange, definitely. I do love the tangerine. In fact, doTERRA is now selling tangerine in a 15 ml bottle. You'll need to get it. Remind me to tell you my tea recipe at the end with tangerine. Okay, so let's go into, just for our last couple minutes here, the limonene content. So bergamot is about 30% limonene. It's very good at uplifting, but also calming. That's why I use it for anxious emotions, bergamot. For grapefruit's actually your highest limonene, and that's up to 92%. Lemon is up to 72%. Lime 65, tangerine 80, and orange 90. So orange and grapefruit have pretty much the highest limonene content. If someone wants to type these in, that would be great. I know I didn't say that before, but the comments really help. Red mandarin, yeah, that's a really good one too. People are saying, yeah. So many great citruses. So the last note I want to end on, besides my usage, is when I've given you the compound of limonene, right? We've talked about what it does. Does that mean that I can go down to whatever grocery store or Walmart and buy a $2 bottle of orange oil and think that there's going to be 90% limonene content in there? No, there absolutely will not be. And that's the key when you look in research, is that these essential oils that cause an effect in the body, okay, cause a benefit, they're based on compounds. They're not just based on, an essential oil, it's called lavender, so it does this. It's not true, okay? So it absolutely has to do with the compound, which is why some people will think they don't really work, which was when, in my case, I thought they just worked okay. So you need to make sure, and if you're really looking for a good essential oil, I can give you my recommendation, but I just tell you it's better for you to research it yourself. Otherwise, you think I'm just telling you that because that's what I know. But you need to ask the company, what are the compounds in here? And a good indicator is to see how much their compounds have in their citruses, because it should just be limonene as the major constituent, except for bergamot. So citruses should have a major constituent of limonene. And the other really, really easy indicator is to smell it. It's called organoleptic testing. Smell it. And if I take this bottle, and this is Citrus Bliss, and I take it, and you can smell so strongly and potently the smell of citruses, just like you do when you break open an orange. It's like super potent. That's what you should smell. If I have to almost stick it up my nostril because I'm having a hard time smelling it, which I had to do the other day. Oh my goodness. I was getting massage, and the massage therapist, she has a whole bunch of another company oils. I won't say who, but anyway, and I bring my oils in just because I know mine are great. And she had her equivalent to Citrus Bliss. It was like a citrus blend. And I smelled it, and I had a really hard time smelling the citrus. I could smell it very faintly. That means it's diluted. Okay, that means it's not powerful and potent. You need something that has the compounds and that's not being diluted and sold to you as 100% the oil. And that's really, for me, I did my research. I looked at the compounds. I've been to the doTERRA, educational events to really learn what the company's doing. And I looked online with their stuff. And that's why I've chosen and why I've gotten the effects that I finally did with my body and then with my clients with doTERRA essential oil. So you know that when they have a grapefruit, that there is about 90% of limonene inside of there. And it's so potent. You can smell it so good. So anyway, yeah, I love the grapefruit. I would say lime is one of my favorites too. So let me go into some usage because I know we're at 20 minutes now. And I would love for you guys to write down. Thanks for typing in stuff, by the way, whoever was doing that. I appreciate that. I would love for you to write down some maybe your favorite ways of using your citrus oils. So the gut, okay, the key. So I'm going to talk about first diffusing it, inhaling it. That's your given, okay? The gut is the key. So do a couple drops. So lime, I love to put this in my salsa and guacamole. And so if you do your own homemade, or even if I buy a store one that's organic and healthy, but I put a few drops in it, that is a good way to get it in your gut. Anything that you can add lime to a dish, I would do it. Even if you're making like lemon squares or lime squares, okay? Add these to it. I do lemon and grapefruit in my water, and I pretty much just alternate these because they do have different components. So lemon has other compounds that are different than grapefruit. We're really good at ungluing things from your body, with that lack of a better way of saying it. So, and what I mean by this is, why don't you go get something really sticky on your hand and then put a drop of lemon and see what it does. It'll just wipe it right off, okay? So that's what it's going to do in the gut, is really help lubricate the whole intestinal system. And then grapefruit is really strong at detoxifying, okay, especially metabolism and fat cells. So I like to alternate these two. In a glass bottle, about 8 ounces, I'll do maybe 3 to 5 drops. The max really you'll want a day is 20 of the limonene. So not just lemon 20 and grapefruit 20, that's 40. I would do 20 limonene. So that means, 5 glasses with 5, actually 25. So 5 glasses of 5 drops will be fine. Another great way is what I do with my tea. Thank you so much, Ashley, for typing things in. I appreciate that. So I do raspberry leaf tea, hibiscus tea, and rose hips tea. I just get it from the organic bulk, and I put those in together in my seeper. And then I'll put it in a big mason jar, and I'll seep this, not the essential oils, the tea, and then I'll refrigerate it. But before I refrigerate it, once it's cooled, I'll put about, in the huge mason jar, probably about 7 drops. It's like one of the massive mason jars. and I'll put about 7 drops of tangerine essential oil. And then I drink it with my tea, and it is so delicious. So any of these creative ways, you can even put it on the bottom of your feet. And that's a very effective way to get it into the entire body. So diffusing, bottom of the feet, add it into your food. Citruses are so simple. The only thing you can't do with them is give them to cats. So you have to be careful with that. Cats cannot digest, process in their liver the limonene content. So that's just a disclaimer. Now that I have a cat, I'm more aware of that. So I don't give her citruses. All right, you guys, I am excited that you guys are investigating and learning more about the limonene content, about the essential oils. I love that it's science-based. This is not frou-frou. It's not placebo effect. It's absolute science. And you can go and look it up on your own, not just listen to me. And that's what I love about the web, right? About real science and about truth. It's out there and you can see it. So thanks for listening, everybody, and have a good rest of your Tuesday. And I've got a free download available for you. If you're on Facebook, you can get the link, or you can go to DanielleDR.com/free download. Super easy. And it's got the neurotransmitters with the essential oils that they affect, and what are essential oils, and also which essential oils affect which emotions. So I created this awesome download. So it's free. Just go to DanielleDR.com/free download. All right. Have a great rest of your day. I'm loving seeing your recipes come in, and I'll keep looking, going back and reading them. Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.